Well, as you can see, Marlene has made a fabulous aquarium for her special fish. The fish's name is Gigi, isn't that right, Marlene?
That's right. Well, we had another fish and it died, and my granddaughter was up here when it died, and so she immediately went up without me knowing and brought me this fish.
Oh.
And she said it had to have an Italian name because she just finished studying for a month in Italy. So, so that's where Gigi came from.
Well, I like it. Now, Gigi is a very precious fish because this is quite the palace.
You know, this was really fun, Patty. I'm finding more and more that with the bottle cutter and your etching, you can really do some kind of sculptures.
Well, that's exactly what I would call this, as a sculpture. You've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of glass here.
Right. And the bottom and the top was a cake stand that I picked up at a garage sale for 25 cents.
Oh, really?
And then the middle green bottle is just this wine bottle that's just cut off.
Okay.
And then the next bottle I was going to cut, but it happened to be just the size I needed, so it was just glued on as it was.
Now, you've got things inside there. Is that hard to do?
On the inside, I just put some shells and some starfish and little sea-type things, and then I poured the liquid illusion in it.
Oh.
And it's kind of like a resin, but it takes it like 3 days to really set up hard. And it's normally used to put in vases with silk flowers that look like water.
I've done that.
Yeah.
That's really smart, though, Marlene, because that makes this really heavy, and it holds the base down on the floor.
Right,
and makes it more safe.
And I also put a seashell and some of the liquid illusion in the bottom. See the very bottom base? It's a stand of the cake plate.
Yes.
So it just gives it more dimension.
It really does.
So this is something you can pick up easily to make.
Easily. Okay, it's time. You're going to have to show us just how easy this is.
Well, you know, one thing nice about cutting the bottle this time, I didn't have to, my husband does all my sanding on the glass for me.
Good.
But he didn't have to sand it because it's glued into the top.
Oh, okay.
Or it can be glued. I just have this one set in so I can change it easily. But, you know, where it's hidden, you don't have to worry about it cutting somebody.
Good point.
Okay. But what I want to show today is the etching part of it.
Okay.
And there's so many different ways that you can go with the etching. But I have these little fish stencils, and these are from Armor, and they have so many wonderful designs to pick from.
Yes, they do. How in the world do you ever decide?
Oh, I know. I think I've used them all at least once, but it's really fun to use their designs. And they have small ones as well as really large designs.
Now, this can look a little intimidating, but it's really not that hard.
No, it isn't. And I want to start out with just one of the transfers. So we're just going to lay this on and just put a little piece of tape on each side to hold it in place. And then you're just rubbing it down. And as you can see, it starts to turn kind of white, and that means it's releasing the cover sheet.
Okay.
And I'm just going to do this one fish because we've got a few steps here that we want to get through.
Okay.
Can you see how that's...
I really can. And I think the camera can see that too.
Now see, I've got a little bit of dark here, so I need to rub that down a little bit more over here. And as you start to release it, you can tell that's stuck down almost all the way.
How many of these have you done?
Oh, gee, hundreds, I think. Over about the last 10 years, so it's been quite a few.
Okay.
You know, it's nice because you can put these on almost anything, any kind of glass.
I see. Now, this is like creating a stencil.
Right, this is a stencil. And then you're just going to take the etching cream and just dab it on the inside. And then this needs to set for about 45 seconds.
It seems like it would take hours.
What I also want to show you to do that I've found is really fun is you can paint with the etching cream. And I'm just using a flat brush, and I'm using the Low Cornell brush, and you know, you may think brushes are all the same, but I've tried so many different ones. This one is soft, but not soft enough that, but what it'll still leave some cream on. If you get too stiff a brush, it pulls all the cream off.
Oh, okay.
So this just seems to be exactly the right thickness. And see, I'm just drawing just a type of seaweed.
Wow. Now, that just really put my creative mind in a whirl, and I know it did all of our viewers. Because I'm thinking, okay, I could make flowers, I could make, you know.
Yeah, anything that you want to paint. You could use stencils,
Write
any
a
kind of
name.
stencils. If you just go all the way around and do this. And on the green, as you can see on that one, they don't show up a lot, but it's just
Right.
kind of a subtle design.
It's very subtle.
Okay, and then I wanted to go a little further with this. So I took some contact paper and I cut a strip with my decorative scissors. I just use these scallop type scissors.
Mm-hmm.
And I put the contact paper around the top. It's a little hard to see, but you can see it around the top.
I do see it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then, see if I can keep my hands out of all this etching cream here. And then I'm just sponging over the top of that tape.
Uh-huh.
And as you can see on the top of the aquarium, where that sponged area is, it just gives it a nice little frosted border.
It does. It's almost a mottled effect.
I had a lady that wanted to etch the whole top of her coffee table, the glass coffee table, and it just was not going to work because you can't brush it on smooth enough. And so she took the sponge and sponged the whole thing, and it was beautiful. It made it look kind of like a cloud design.
That's a great idea.
But it still made it obscure, so you couldn't see what was under it. She had books and stuff laying under it that she wanted to conceal.
That is smart. I've been wondering if you could do that. You just answered my question.
So when you get to that point, you just have to let it set for the 45 seconds. And I'm going to go ahead and start wiping it off because I think it's set long enough you'll be able to see.
All right. Scoot it over here for the cameras and everybody at home to see.
And you can use anything to scrub it off with. At this point, you can't hurt it. You're just scrubbing hard enough. And if I were doing this in the kitchen, I would do it right under running water.
Okay. Now, is this going to hurt my sink?
You don't want to let it set in your sink.
Okay.
You want to have the water running as you take it off, and be sure it runs right down the sink because you will have an etched sink. In my old sink, before I redid my kitchen, I had an etched spot, and so I took a stencil one day and put a flower over it.
Oh, how smart.
But I wouldn't want to do that in my new sink.
Oh, I know. You just want to keep the water going until you've got it all off there.
And if you want to grab a paper towel right behind me there, I forgot to get one.
I love working in your studio because everything is right there.
Everything's here, that's right. I just want to get this dried off enough that you can see the design.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really see it until it's dry.
Oh, we're wanting to see it. That's the best part.
It's funny, the etching doesn't show up at all until it's dry. Now see, you can start to see.
I am starting to see it.
It dries, how it's coming through.
Mm-hmm. That is so neat.
Let's see where our fish is. There's the fish.
Aha, another Gigi.
Yeah.
Well, Marlene, you've amazed us again.
And you know, Patty, it's really important
We wanted to
use,
talk about this.
Yeah, the two-part epoxy. This is 5 minute, and it actually does set up in 5 minutes. So you have to work pretty fast if you're putting several pieces together, or mix up just enough that you need for each time.
Okay. This is the key to making it all stack and stay.
Right, and stay.
Well, thanks, and we'll see you again next month.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
See you then.
Bye.